Okay, this is a quick walkthrough to the program I just made. You'll first start on this page, create an account. We'll name it test, for example, because we already have test. We'll name it like this. Set a password like this, press enter, and then we already have an account. Now we'll type in our username and our password. If we typed it incorrect, we can easily open the website. Currently, there is nothing implemented to reset the password, so note it down somewhere. For example, in Bitwarden. Once we have accessed the app, we'll start here. There's nothing weird. Why? Because we have created a new account where there is no data on ourselves yet. So what do? We need to follow the 11 steps that we have defined earlier. Taking supplements, eating no shit, sleeping over 7 hours in German, not sleeping in after midnight, consuming no porn, giving it your best when training, sticking to your training plan, not sleeping, but doing deep work for 4 hours a day, at least. This should be bigger. Reaching your daily goals is also important, which will be defined while journaling. And to keep ourselves smart, we have reading. You can also add in daily notes right here. Like, for example, hey, today I was sick or whatever. This will be stored for the day, and this is quite important. So, wow, what happened right now? Nothing, because we have no data right here, but it initialized somehow. But now we activate one thing, we did one thing, and we get a badge. Awesome! We complete the second thing. The counter of our daily goals increases. We do more and more and more and more and more and more and so on. The data right here will update. Here we'll see how good we are doing in the different areas. For example, in mentality, we have only done 50% as an average. So we only get a score of 50 out of 100 here. But the other things we completed, so we'll get a score out of 100 because we fully did it. Next thing you might notice is that we have streaks. The streaks right here are being displayed for each category, and this streak will increase once we have hit all 11 goals on a daily basis. For example, if we hit all 11 goals 3 days in a row, this will be stuck at 3, but it can decrease to 0 again. Maybe in the future I'll implement a high score here. This is editable. But why is there so much space right here? The reason why there's so much space right here is because of this little thing. This right here will be a whole big heat map. I don't have an image right now, I'll insert one. And there we see that for each and every day, one little pixel appears. The color of this pixel correlates with the score that you had on this day, and ideally you want to keep it as white as possible. And now once we have unlocked all 11 points for the single day, we get a badge because I implemented it that way. Okay, this was the basic UI. Next, what do we have here in the middle? No data. I'll also insert a screenshot. But here you can basically switch between modes and days. Like you can, for example, in YouTube Studio, 1 year, 90 days, 24 days, and 7 days. And with the mode, we can switch the way the score is calculated. For example, with the 28-day average, each entry in this line graph will be the average score of the last 28 days. Why did I do it? It is to smooth out the curve and to not have it like really wiggly when each entry is applied individually, because you won't see a trend developing over the span of multiple days. The next mode is the 7-day average. This is much more like what we know from individual scores, but still a little evened out, because just displaying the 1-day average looks really weird. And finally, we have the lifetime average. This is an average of all the scores that the user had up to this point. For example, if he has data for 90 days and looks at day 30 right here in the diagram, he can see what average he had after 30 days and what average he had after 90 days. Below that, right here, we see our name and an average and the score. What the fuck? Why? We see it there because there are other features implemented. Before we talk about that, right here is like the logo or whatever. And here we can select the date by clicking. Of course, there are not really any stats in the past, but if you miss writing in your stats for a day, you can do it. Of course, you can't write in stats for the future. Next, we have the the trophy room. These are all the things you can achieve. If you're a gladiator, you're a top G. And yeah, the notifications aren't implemented yet. And here is the settings menu. You can, of course, adjust your primary colors. I haven't really gotten this to fully work, but it is not that important. For example, you can turn the whole UI into different colors. Here it has a different color, and here it also has a different color. The coolest thing is that the color of the glow changes basically. And here we have our account page. We can log out. Why would you do that? And delete the account. You can display your score only, be private, but I haven't really implemented that yet. But what I have implemented is inviting friends. When we invite a friend, for example, the user test, we can invite him. Oh yeah, why is he not found? Maybe myself. Yeah, we can use myself. And if we copy all of this into here and log ourselves out and log ourselves in, we can in friends accept the friend request. Of course, I want the friend, and I for some reason couldn't invite test. We can enable and disable if we want to see them. If you see right down here, this removes or adds them from the friend view. So for example, if we have 60 friends that we want to share this app with, we can easily only display our 5 favorite friends and yeah, not really care about the others. The interesting thing is you can also choose the color for your friends. For example, Test, he is a little bit pink, pink guy. So we'll select pink and we'll wait a second. Eventually he should turn pink. And the database updates are not that fast, of course. Who cares about colors anyway? So if we click on ourselves, we can compare ourselves with someone else. For example, me versus me. Of course, that will equivalent to nothing. But for example, me right here versus my friend. He has all 11 tasks already completed while I am sitting here at 3 a.m. and have nothing completed. That's so bad. Man. So now I have to end this video because I have to start grinding. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you want to test out the app yourself, I have it running on a free server. If you have suggestions for any features, let me know in the comments down below and I'll implement them. Goodbye.